Hi, this is Mike, and today I'm going to make a homemade waterproofing sludge out of mineral spirits and 100% clear silicone, and I'm going to dip 2 homemade nylon tarps in it to give them basically the same effect as a Silnylon tarp. And in a few minutes I'll show you the tarps that we made. We'll talk about them a little bit, and I'll let you know how I'm mixing this stuff up and the whole process. So stick with me. Alright, what I did here is I hung a tarp that I bought the material at Walmart a few years back, 2 big pieces, and I sewed them together with the help of Spencer. And then we sewed loops so that you could run a guy line on the outside of the tarp. Along the tarp we sewed tie-offs, and those tie-offs are sewed along the tarp all, wow, wonderful windy day. So basically I'm going to use the tie-offs to tie it to the bush and over here to some fencing after it's dipped for drying. I just kind of hung it up there and got it all ready. And then we also made this tarp out of an old tent. We cannibalized the tent. We used the material to basically make the same setup. We reinforced the corners and sewed the guy line tie-offs right onto it. It's a cheap, inexpensive way of making a homemade tarp. That 10 by 12 heavy-duty nylon tarp cost me around $25–30 in the end. This one was free because it was a tent somebody gave us that we were able to cannibalize and use the parts. And we're going to dip them both and make them waterproof. Okay, so I don't have a cameraman today. Basically I'm going to take the mineral spirits and the silicone, put them in this bucket, and then use that mixer and that drill to mix it until the silicone is completely dissolved, and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, well, everybody that did it online that I've witnessed and watched videos of used mineral spirits, but they weren't white. These mineral spirits that I bought, although they had the same identical looking labels and read the same as some of the other ones, when I poured it out, it's a white liquid. I have absolutely no idea if this is going to ruin my tarp or if it's going to work, but I'm going to go for it. So we're going to go ahead and mix the silicone in now. Well, the videos online were correct, and I didn't realize how much it was going to splash when I tried to mix it. So I'm going to put a hole in the lid and run the mixer through it so I can keep the lid on and mix it at high speed, because it's just not quite mixing up the way it should. Now we're mixing machines, right, Alex? Mix it up. Go ahead. That's a boy. I'll tell you what, the high rate of speed mixing really made this stuff thick. It is thoroughly mixed, and there's lots of bubbles. I'll let some of the bubbles get out of it, and we're going to go ahead and do a dip. Well, guys and gals, this is the tarp drying. You missed all the fun. If I had a cameraman, you'd probably be laughing your total butts off, falling out of your chair, because this ended up being kind of a disaster. I don't think I'd ever undertake a project like this in such a small space with such a big tarp and without at least some assistance. I ended up, and without safety glasses. I ended up getting some in my eye, got it in my hair, and I ruined a pair of pants, or shorts, and a shirt. But this is the effect. It's starting to dry. I don't know if you can see the streaking. When I first put it in the bucket, I realized very quickly that the bucket was too small to do a tarp of this size, although the last video I watched online, the gentleman did use a 5-gallon pail and a very close to the same size tarp. It was like a foot smaller in each direction. And you know, people say to wear rubber gloves. There's no way you're going to do this with just rubber gloves without getting it on you. Just go for it. I ended up with my bare hands up to my elbows in that bucket, mixing this tarp into it. I ended up getting a paintbrush and brushing on spots that looked thin or that I thought didn't get coverage at all. this poor sucker right here is drying. It got real thick, and the way his tie-offs are set up and the space that I have, it's constantly sticking to itself, so I'm gonna have to keep adjusting that while it dries. This is about 15 minutes is all in the sun, and it is drying that quick, although I was told that you really want a 24-hour cure time, that it's dry in a couple hours, and I could see that's definitely true. So yeah, my suggestions are safety glasses, someone to help you. Get a cheap tote from Walmart and use that instead of a bucket, something that has a little more space to work in so that you can get full coverage when you're dipping your material in, and a bigger space to hang them in than I had here, because that made it tough. I'm in a little urban environment. I don't have a lot of space. Here I am working right next to my lettuce. I tried not to get any on my lettuce. I'll let you know if I have some gooey lettuce in my in one of my salads coming up. But yeah, I probably would have gone to a friend's house that had a larger yard, employed some help, wore safety glasses, used a tote instead of that little bucket, and I'll let you know how the final waterproof test goes. I'm going on a 3-day hike this weekend, which I'm going to videotape and make a video of. And it calls for thunderstorms all 3 days, and we've been getting them every day here, so I'm anticipating testing this thing's waterproof ability. Thanks for watching.